All right, let's dive into something huge today. We're talking about a project that's trying to rewire the future of artificial intelligence. It's called Bittensor. And their goal? Well, it's pretty radical. They want to build a completely open, decentralized market for AI. The idea is to fundamentally change who gets to build, own, and profit from what might be the most important technology humanity ever creates.
And this quote, it just nails the why behind Bittensor. Think about it. Right now, the most powerful AI is being built behind the closed doors of just a handful of massive tech companies. And when you have that kind of concentration of power, you get gatekeepers, you get censorship. It raises these huge, thorny questions about who's really in control of our digital future. So this really lays out the two paths we can take. On the one hand, you have the way things are now, centralized, closed off, and controlled. But on the right, you see the future Bittensor is shooting for. An open arena where anyone, anywhere can contribute, where the best ideas win, not because of who you know, but because they're actually the best. It's about accelerating progress, not walling it off. So at its absolute core, this is what Bittensor is. Don't think of it as just one single AI model. No. It's way bigger than that. It's more like an open marketplace, an eBay for intelligence, where anyone can plug in their AI model and sell its services, and anyone else can come and buy them. It transforms AI from a walled-off secret into a global, tradable commodity. This is such a powerful way to think about it. Remember what Bitcoin did? It used a simple economic incentive, money, to convince millions of people all over the world to plug in their computers and create the most powerful, secure network on the planet. Bittensor is basically saying, hey, we can use that same playbook, but instead of just securing a ledger, let's use it to create intelligence. Okay, so how does this giant global AI brain actually work under the hood? It really comes down to two things that make the whole engine run: subnets and a token called tau. Let's get into it. First up, subnets. Honestly, you can just think of a subnet as its own little specialized market. Each one is basically a competition focused on one specific AI task. So you could have one subnet that's all about generating images, another one that's a genius at analyzing financial data, and a third one for, discovering new medicines. The possibilities are pretty much endless. Now, inside each of these little markets, you have the miners. And no, they're not digging for crypto. They're the ones actually producing the intelligence. These are people and teams all over the world running their own AI models, all competing to give the best possible answers on their particular subnet. They're the global decentralized workforce of this whole thing. But you might be asking, with all that competition, how do you know who's actually good and who's just faking it? Well, that's where the validators come in. Think of them as the referees. Their job is to constantly test the work coming from the miners, score them on quality, and rank them. It's this constant cycle of testing and scoring that makes sure only the best performing AI models get rewarded and rise to the top. So, what makes this whole merry-go-round of competition and validation actually spin? It's the tau token. Tau is the fuel for the entire network. It's the reward that gets paid out to the best miners and the most accurate validators. It's the economic glue that holds everything together and aligns everyone toward a single goal, making the whole network smarter. Okay, so the mechanics are cool, but let's get practical. How do you actually get involved? How do you figure out which of these dozens or even hundreds of subnets are worth paying attention to? Let's talk about that. Looking at a subnet isn't that different from sizing up a startup. First, you got to check the fundamentals. Who's the team behind it? Are they solving a problem that people actually care about? Then you have to look at their story. Can they explain what they're doing in a way that makes sense? Because a great idea is worthless if nobody gets it. Third, is there any traction? Are people using it? Is it making any money? And finally, you have to dive into the data using tools out there that let you analyze their actual performance on the network. Now, if you want to support a subnet you believe in, the main way to do that is through staking. And look, this isn't financial advice, but here's how it works. You take your tau tokens and you stake them with a validator on a subnet you think has a bright future. This is kind of like casting a vote of confidence. It makes that validator more influential, and in return for your support, you get a cut of the rewards they earn. All right, so this all sounds really innovative, right? But it leads us to the absolute elephant in the room. Can a decentralized network of strangers from all over the world really go toe-to-toe with the Goliaths, the Googles, the Microsofts, who are building these unimaginably huge billion-dollar data centers? And just look at this chart. This is why that question is so critical. The cost, both in money and in energy, to train a top-tier AI model is just exploding. It's going vertical. This creates a massive wall, making it basically impossible for anyone who isn't a megacorporation to even play the game. This is the exact wall that Bittensor is trying to smash. And this right here, this is Bittensor's answer. It's so simple, but so powerful. The idea is that no single company, no matter how rich or powerful, can outcompete the entire world. If you can align the collective intelligence and computing power of the whole planet with one open incentive system, you create something that is by definition bigger than any one company. And hey, this isn't just a nice theory. We have actual proof that this works. Take a look at Subnet 9. Its whole purpose is to create the best open source large language models. And guess what? The models being built there by a decentralized network of miners have actually matched and in some cases even beaten state-of-the-art models funded by governments and corporations. That's huge. It's concrete evidence that this model can produce world-class results. So let's zoom out for a second. If this whole thing works, what's the grand vision? What's the end game? Where is all this heading? Well, the big idea is something they call computational capitalism. It sounds complicated, but the concept is actually pretty straightforward. It's the idea that regular old money is, well, kind of dumb. It's too simple an incentive to solve the really complex problems we face. Bittensor is designed to be a platform for creating smarter incentive systems, smarter money, if you will, that can align huge groups of people to solve incredibly hard problems. And that leads to this incredible vision of a market of markets, a world where anyone with an idea can just create their own subnet. They can design a new competitive market for any kind of digital good or service they can think of, and instantly tap into a global pool of talent to build it. We're talking about bottom-up innovation on a scale that's just hard to even imagine. And so that's the question it all comes down to, isn't it? The race for AI is on, and the stakes are unbelievably high. So what's it going to be? Will the future of intelligence be built behind the locked doors of a corporate tower? Or will it be built out in the open by a competitive global market that belongs to everyone? Bittensor has made its bet. Now we all get to watch and see what happens.